Welcome to the studio of Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. We hope your day is bright and beautiful and that you are looking for the good, not its shadow. Fire is never a gentle master. Today, Just Minding My Business Media, LLC is pleased to introduce the soon-to-be-released anthology, Forged by Fire, Built God Tough. Many times in life, in ways that are far from our comprehension, God employs trials to purify our hearts and refine our minds. Forged by Fire, Built God Tough is an all-female testament that illuminates the refining process. These 21 courageous women have been tried and tested through virtually unconquerable circumstances, but have emerged powerful, unrelenting, refined, and are sharing their stories as testimonies to God's miraculous power. So today we welcome Adeyinka Kilani, Kearn, Queen Cole, Anjanette Watts, Rashonda Q. Thornton, Shawnwanika Pittman, Ketrice Caraway, and Tulisa Manaway. Welcome, ladies. So first up, we have Adeyinka Kilani, who is an author, speaker, intercessor, and geospatial specialist with a sincere gift for initiating and maintaining success amongst compassionate trailblazers looking to change their world for the better. Adeyinka Kilani's mantra is clear. She is inspired by female leaders making giant strides in their chosen fields. Adeyinka Kilani, trailblazer, intercessor, and philanthropist. Welcome, Adeyinka.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
And we just found out that she's all the way from England, so we are definitely happy to have you in the States.
Thank you. Glad to be with you.
Absolutely. So tell us, Adeyinka, how did you get started with what you're doing now?
Well, I think I was just looking through Instagram, and I saw the post from Ketrice calling for authors, and I just thought to myself, when I saw that Forged by Fire, that really caught my attention. I thought to myself, wow, I have been forged by fire. Let me give this a go. So I sent a message to her, and I literally just said, oh, I wanted to find out a little bit more about it. And instantly, she was like, okay, this is what it's all about. She told me everything, told me what it required, and I just said to myself, the things I have been through over the years actually was really God refining me, and I really would like to share my testimony. And that was how the whole journey started.
Okay, so tell us about what you do.
Yes, I work as a geospatial analyst. So I really produce maps and do all sorts of analysis with data. And I've been on it for about 25 years now. Right now, I work in the civil service, but I've had several years in the private sector as well before I started working in the civil service. Now, because I have a family, I have a child now, I thought, you know what, let me just step back a bit. And, so I literally now decide that I thought, you know what, I wanted a place where I could manage home work and home life better. And that was in the civil service. So that's where I'm working now.
Okay. So give us a little bit of snippet about your chapter. Can you hear me? Oh, you froze. Okay. I love it when tech goes to the left. All right. So we are.
Okay, I'm back now.
Okay, good. We lost you there for a minute, but that's technology for
Yes.
you.
Uh, yeah, the network, I think it's just reboots. So my title is called Refine to Shine, and I want to share my testimony with my health challenges. I have been living with multiple sclerosis for about 13 years now, and I had a period where things were really bad. I had a season where I couldn't walk. I had a season where I've had seasons where my arm wasn't working well, or I lose feelings in parts of my body, or when I actually had and I couldn't see in one eye for quite a long time. And over the years, through all the challenge, God brought me through. He literally, I knew that He was refining me. There were some things that were in me that the Lord had to take out, and it was difficult at that time. I did not know what was happening. I couldn't. I was a bit confused that when I got the diagnosis, I couldn't believe it. That why would God allow this kind of thing to happen to me? Especially because I just had a son. My son was just going to turn 1 when the whole thing went. When everything started going wrong. But I can honestly say that God works all things out for our good. When I look back now, I mean, it's really been an amazing journey with the Lord. I know that God carried me through all those dark periods. So I want to encourage people now that you know what, even if you have, even if your physical body is failing you, even if you have a diagnosis that is very scary, that God doesn't leave us. He still loves us in spite of all the physical things going on wrong in our bodies, and He wants to carry us through the journey. So that's why I really involved myself in this project. I thought to myself, you know what, let me share my experience and actually talk about how God brought me through. That now if you really, I mean, now I'm on the disease modifying meds, and they've helped me tremendously. So I just really want to share my experience and how God has brought me through all these years.
Yes, and that's a testimonial because I'm sure there was a lot of emotions involved as well as physical things that happen. And
Yes.
when we're in it, we can't really see anything but what we are in. It's not normally until after the fact, once we go through it, is when we can reflect back and really see how God held our hand all the way through it. So we've got some
Yes.
shout outs here, quite a few. Let's see, Ketrice is piling me up here. So I'm going to share, yes, God carries us through all of the dark periods. We got Christina Johnson. Yes, won't God do it? All righty now. So, yes, we definitely can't wait to read your testimonial because we know it's going to be definitely powerful. And we are looking forward to what God is continuing to do in your life and being able to follow you throughout the rest of your journey. So, thank you so much for sharing. And we truly appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All righty now. Definitely, Ruth. You on mute.
Yep. Keep myself from
Okay.
coughing.
Yeah. So testimonials is definitely God at work because, like as I mentioned, when you're going through it, when like you say, when you're in the fog, it's foggy
Hmm.
for sure. So who do we have next up?
Next, we have Anjanette Watts, who is an author, speaker, cleric, and a licensed coiffeuse, displaying a natural propensity for enhancing culture and community through the power of faith. She has thrived in her business as a salon owner, as a nurse, and co-pastor of her church. Her mantra, God is at the center of her success. Anjanette Watts, leader, energizer, servant. Welcome, Anjanette.
Yes. Welcome. How are you this day? You're looking beautiful. I love your hair.
I'm doing well. Thank you guys for having me on. How are you doing? How are both of y'all doing?
Doing
Doing very
pretty
well,
good.
thank
Doing
you.
pretty good, especially since we're here. So
Awesome.
tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, I am a co-salon owner. My husband, we both own the salon. He's a barber. I'm a hairstylist, and also, and we also own a boutique. And then we're also pastors of the newly established Relentless Church here in Columbia, Mississippi. By the way, a virtual at the moment.
Okay. So tell us about your why for doing the book.
I believe my why for doing the book is just simply was my yes to God. This year, I think so often we give our yes to God, but that yes needs to be updated, every so often. And so this year I decided to, if that I'm going to see what the end is going to be with God, I need to surrender more to Him, fully to Him. And so I gave him my yes on telling a piece of something that was somewhat buried, put behind in my past. So I thought, but he said he needed to put it on display so that it could help restore other marriages. And so I said, well, God, I really don't want to, but if you insist, I will. That's just the God honest truth.
I know. I've been like that as well. We've had those conversations as well. I'm like, Lord, you sure? Me? I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
And then
right.
immediately going back and forth with God. I can't do that.
Yeah, that's a
Why you? So I know what you're talking about. So a snippet from your chapter, just a little bit to give us a feel.
pretty much my story is one of the Christ. The name of my chapter is the Christ-like husband, and it's really one of a story of redemption, forgiveness, restoration, grace, and mercy. How my loving husband, my amazing husband, restored me like Christ after me coming to him, telling him that I had an affair on him, and how his love covered me in that moment, and pretty much up until this time, just like Christ, the way he handled me, the way that he allowed Christ to shine through him was just truly amazing. And I knew that God, you have to be real in order for this man to be able to, even in the midst of his pain, and even in the midst of his confusion, he decided to still show me Christ-like love in such an awful situation.
Wow. And that's a blessing in itself because
Yes,
we all know how men are when women
yes,
cheat. It's
yes, because they have so much pressure
usually,
on them. Men have so much pressure on them, by other guys, by other people, especially when it comes to their wife. And
yes.
so I think he didn't put me on blast. As a matter of fact, uh, the further as it went was between him and I. And he covered me because it wasn't like the world, it wasn't like people knew. It was just me being honest. After a conversation with God telling me today to tell my husband, that particular day was the day that I was going to stop the affair and tell my husband what I've been doing. And I did that. And so he didn't talk about me amongst his friends. He didn't share with his mom. He didn't share with nobody what I did. And just his humility, just his strength in the midst of that 12 years later just has been outstanding. And how at this point, he, had to come in agreement with God that, yeah, if it could help someone else, let's tell our story.
Yes. And I can't wait to read your chapter because that's a difficult one. And, you have an amazing husband. I just
I
want to
do.
tell you that you have an amazing
I do.
husband because most men would definitely not carry it that way, for sure.
No, that's why I know God is real. And I knew that he loved God. And I really, through that, I really knew that he loved God, because most of the time when one of the spouses go outside the relationship, there's a price to pay, mistreatment, just an ugly attitude. And although I waited for that to happen, it never happened. And that I was like, it's almost like when you come to the realization how God must feel when we hurt him, but how he still loves us in spite of our shortcomings. And so that's why I don't take for granted his grace that he extended to me. And I just love him so much for extending that grace to me, just as like Christ, like I love Christ.
Absolutely. What a testimonial, because God will definitely fix anything. And
Yes, he can.
I mean, I ask God for like little stuff, Lord, I can't find my glasses. Can you tell me where I put them, please? And somehow I end up walking to them. So I know, even down to the smallest things, he is there for all of us. So we can't wait to read your chapter, and Jeanette, and I am just so honored to meet you, because your story is definitely not many that husband and wife situation can talk about in a positive manner. So that is a blessing in itself.
That's right.
Yes. So thank you so much for sharing. And we look forward to definitely collaborating with you more. So thank you so much.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. All right, Ruth. This is really a powerful conversation so far. This book, I can already tell, is going to be a powerhouse. And you're on mute, Ruth.
You're going to have to keep telling me, because I have to turn it off so you don't hear all my clicking over here.
Oh, okay. So you clicking, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
all right. So who do we have next?
We have Tulisa Manaway, who is an author, blogger, marriage counselor, and certified lactation specialist. She is the co-founder of Adding to God's Gifts, A2GG, a sports program tailored to provide expert mentorship and pragmatic solutions in the lives of youth and young adults, while implementing the use of biblical principles. Tulisa's mantra is simple. She loves to encourage women to attain and retain the importance of self-actualization, esteem, and transparency by helping them to understand the promise of a life transformed by the love of Christ. Welcome, Tulisa.
Yeah. Oh, you muted, sweetie. I know that.
Somebody else.
Thank you so much for being here. I love the smile. So tell us a little bit about what you do, to explain that to us. It sounds like it's an awesome endeavor.
Okay, my husband and I have worked together using a sports platform to help youth and young adults, simply adding to the gift that God has already given them, and also giving them biblical principles, because sometimes we'll be the only Bible that they'll read. Some children are not in church, or they may not know about God, but we have a way to sprinkle it in there, and also, like I said, just being the example for youth.
All right, that's definitely an anointed position, because we need as many soldiers as possible for our youth, especially in the world that we live in today, with so much negativity and bad behavior coming from leadership. Having somebody in their lives to show them a different way is really huge. So tell us your why, in terms of why you did the book. Why did you say yes?
I said yes because a couple of months before I read the blog or the post that Ketrice posted, God had told me to start writing the process that I was going through. My husband was sick and God wanted me to journal it. So I thought. So it turned into me being a co-author in this book. Basically, for me, I want people who are married to know if you have a spouse that's ill, that you really have to trust God. I thought I was trusting him, but I found out I wasn't. I was going through a breakdown mentally, trying to be strong for my household, my husband. I had took all the weight and put it on my shoulder, and I said, well, I got to do it. And I was trying to carry my husband because mentally I could see where he was. And God had to tell me during one of the breakdowns that you are right where I want you. You want to be in control, but I'm in control. So I had to relinquish that control and get to a place to really trust God and make it real and not just out of my lips. And so through the fire, my faith was forged. I mean, a fire for as being a prayer wife that my husband needed. God placed something on the inside of me that I couldn't have got without going through this storm. And always believing God to heal him. I have always believed it, and every time it looked like that was not the case. But I had to learn that really faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. God is not man that he shall lie. And so I got that down on the inside of me. Anytime the enemy comes up against my husband or my children, the Lord comes up. That fire comes from my belly, and I'm like sitting on the out, feel like I'm having an out of body experience. I'm like, who is that praying? But I know that I know provision of God's providing for us. We did not have to worry about that. If God said, if I think it, he's gonna do it. Just say it. He showed me that. He has put the little Tulisa behind, and he said, this is who you are, woman of God. You are fire. I live on the inside of you. So I got a different identity going through the fire.
All righty there. I know that's right. Isn't it a wonderful thing when we give it to God?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's like the whole weight of the world just immediately goes away. It's like a breath of fresh air because, I mean, I can understand where you're coming from. I'm like the strength of my household, so to speak. And things happen. And, I have to remember I can't control anything.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do, on my best day, I'm a mess. And, when you're going through it, sometimes you in that situation and you seeing things happening, and it's difficult sometimes to remove yourself from the situation and relinquish it to God. But as soon as you do it, oh my God, what a relief it is, literally.
Yeah.
Let go, let God.
Yes. And a lot of times we do it, but then we take it back.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So we definitely have to watch that action because we give it to God and then immediately we take it back.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to watch that behavior to make sure we leave it where something can be done because we can't do nothing. So Tulisa, I can't wait to read your chapter. It is like I could feel your energy, and I know your chapter is going to be surely energized with with whatever it is you talked about in your chapter. And I know it's going to be a great experience because we can feel your energy. We can also feel your trust in God. It shows all over you. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. And we will be talking soon. Okay, Ruth, you messing me up with that clicking.
That's not me. That is not me.
Oh,
Nope, it was not me. I was wondering too where
clicking.
that clicking was coming from.
All right, ladies, put yourself on mute. No
Yeah,
clicking.
something was clicking away. Some sounded like someone was typing. I recognize those clicks.
Yes.
But it's okay.
Wow. I can't wait till this book comes out. I'm hearing so many testimonials. Oh my.
Yeah.
So who do we have next?
We have Rayshonda Q. Thornton, who is a wife, mother, and career woman. She is a behavioral health counselor working with offenders to reduce recidivism through individual counseling. Rayshonda is currently obtaining a master's degree in special education. Rayshonda takes joy in helping others rebuild their lives and be restored to the place they were destined to be before life's interruptions. Welcome, Rayshonda.
Welcome. Good evening. How are y'all?
Good evening,
Okay.
Rashonda. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful.
You look like my niece.
Awesome.
So tell us what your work entails.
I work at a women's prison here in Georgia, and I teach different classes, cognitive substance abuse classes, to help them reduce their recidivism when they're released from incarceration. So just teaching them the tools and skills to help them to be better individuals as the whole individual when they're released. So.
Okay. Well, that's real important because being in the penal system, of course, that's a totally different life. And it's a totally different mindset just to get by day to day. So give us a little snippet of some of the things that you help these ladies with.
Some of them come in with a lot of different issues. I don't work with them on the mental health part, but I team up with some of the mental health counselors to help them if they're having mental health issues and concerns. But for me, teaching them how to be a mentor, I teach a class called Pathfinders. A lot of these ladies, they've grown up and they haven't had the necessary tools to learn how to be a successful mentor. So teaching them how to communicate, teaching them different listening skills, things of that nature, teaching them different tools as far as remaining substance abuse free, because it's hard for them and not knowing in their past, not knowing how to handle different situations. So just teaching them those skills, those hardcore cognitive skills, teaching them that there's a different way to think things through, and it doesn't have to be the way that they've always been accustomed to. So.
Okay, and let me just ask, how long do you follow these women?
Usually when they're released, that's the end of my journey. There's a such thing as personal dealings, what we call. So once they're released, I can't have any contact with them. So that's the difficult part, want to know where they are. But per our policy, once they're released, we're no longer allowed to be in contact with them. So that's unfortunate.
Yes, because we all know change takes time.
Absolutely.
So, because if you've been a certain way a certain amount of time, it's going to take that and some more to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
So, do they provide outside resources for the ladies to continue with the work?
Yes, they do. Most of them go to reentry partnership housing, which helps to transition them into a transitional type housing for the first 3 months upon release. So that helps them with getting on their feet. If they have mental health, helping them get to their appointments, or if they have probation. So there's a lot of resources that they have out there. It just depends on what county they're going to and if they have any parole or probation to follow up. So yes, ma'am.
Okay. So tell us about your chapter in the book.
Yay. My chapter is trusting the refiner's process to deliver my promise. So I started off with some of the things that happened to me as a child and some of the things that people said to me and how it affected me mentally. And then how I went down on a slippery slope. And when I heard God tell me that he was going to restore my marriage, I tried to help God to restore that promise to me. And my chapter is basically allowing myself to trust fully into God to deliver that promise to me. I had to take my hands off of it. Like Tulisa said, I had to let God have control and take my hands off of it.
I know it never works when we touch it.
That's right. And so just finding my voice to allow God to use me to teach other women. It's okay when we make mistakes, but just to keep trusting in God.
Yeah, and I mean, what human doesn't make the mistake?
Right.
I mean, one day I sat there and I counted. I was very intentional about counting how many mistakes I made in a day. I truly lost count. It was so many. Down to dropping something, or, just down to the littlest thing of the mistakes that we make. So mistakes are going to happen pretty much more than you even realize. So, understanding that you're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. We don't live in a perfect world.
Right.
But the only thing that we can shoot for is being in excellence, because that's the only thing you can measure. You can't measure perfection.
Right.
You can't measure it at all. And when the mistakes happen, use it as a learning tool, which is what it's designed for. So we can't wait to read your chapter. We thank you for joining us this evening, and we're looking forward to more collaboration with you. So thank you so much, Rashonda.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, Ruth.
Hello. No clicking this time. Well, we're going to just take a pause to let people know a little bit more about us and what we do, so that if they want to jump on board with us and be part of the process, they can. We would like to invite you to 10x your business with digital marketing from Just Minding My Business Media, LLC, on JMMB Media TV or Mindset Movers TV. If you're interested, contact us at jmmbradio@gmail.com. So as we move along, our next person will be Sharwanika Pittman.
Okay.
She is an author, playwright, educator, multi-dimensional presenter, and an originator. Though graced with an epic show-stopping portfolio of creativity, she is a true servant leader at heart and uses a portion of her abilities with communal youth. Sharwanika is the creative author of Fought Till the Finish. It is a devotional for cancer survivors written as a result of her own life-altering battle with cancer. Now she is co-author in the soon-to-be-released anthology, Forged by Fire.
Okay. We got a little bit of distortion here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it came from. Everybody else on mute in the studio?
Yes.
We should be able to hear you.
Lots of background noise.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome, Ms. Pittman. Thank you so much for gracing our stage. Ooh. Hang on. Ruth, you want to go ahead? I'll put myself on mute.
Okay. Hi. We're going to stay with Ms. Pittman, just to make life easier, so I don't keep messing up your name.
It's okay.
But we're really happy to have you here with us. And we just like to always know, how did you get on the road to doing this book? What enticed you to do it?
Well, what enticed me to do the book was one day I was on Facebook, and Ketrice is my sister. But even though she's my sister, we have our own lanes. She's the author and the writer, and most of the time I'm the singer of the family. And so we just, she does what she does and I do what I do. And so one day I was looking on Facebook and I said, Forged by Fire, if you want to be an author in a book. And I was like, she hadn't told me anything about this. What is going on? So I emailed her and I said, hey, what is this? And she sent me this whole list of what the book was about and everything. She was like, you need to be in this. And I was like, okay, I'll get back with you. And so like a salesperson, it was like every day, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, okay. But I had already known that I was supposed to do something with her because she is my sister. And for so long, we were really close at one particular point in life. But when situations happened, it drew us apart. I didn't speak to her. She didn't speak to me. I didn't care how she was doing. It was like whatever. And that's just what the devil was doing to keep us apart, because he knew the power that would happen if we were together. So when I said yes to the book, it's amazing because our relationship began to mend, and that's what I feel like her yes for doing the book to God and my yes did, it kind of bounded us back together. So that's why I really said yes. And I'm just excited about doing the book, and I'm overjoyed.
Awesome. A sister act. I
Yes,
love
ma'am.
it. I love it. I love it. Sisters are so important. So tell us a little bit about the chapter in the book, your chapter in the book.
Okay. My chapter in the book is called The Fire Made Me Fertile. And I have had so many different struggles as long as I have been born. I was born dead. I had had heart surgery when I was little, and I died on the table. I had scoliosis. I died on the table again. I have had eye surgery because I lost sight in my eye. I lost hearing in my ear, and God restored all of that. And just because I felt like that was a lot, here it was, he gave me, I had to have uterine and ovarian cancer. And that really did something for me, because I'm like, here it is. I'm 30 years old, and I've had so many things that really happen in life. And, now all of a sudden, okay, God, now I have cancer. And a lot of people find out that they have, ovarian cancer, and it's too late. They don't live to tell the story. But God blessed me enough to let me be able to live and tell the story. But the thing that got me was, here I am, and I don't have kids. And so I'm sitting in this room with the doctor, and he's telling me, if the cancer has spread to your uterus, you're going to have a hysterectomy, and you won't be able to have any children. And so after I went through the surgery, and the doctor came in, and he was telling me, he took out a 15-pound tumor. And those words, when he said, and we had to remove your uterus, it did something to me. It made me numb, because I was like, the very thing that I really ever wanted was kids. Who doesn't want to have kids of their own? And you can have stepchildren, you can have all of those things, but it's different when that it comes from you, flesh of your flesh and bone of your bone. And so to think that even though I gave up the will to have my own kids, God put some things in me, and he's birthing some things in me that, I can't even explain. So it's amazing when you give up your will for God's will. He can do some amazing things. And so, that's my story.
Awesome. Just awesome. Thank you for sharing that so honestly. My goodness, you told the stories of many women. You told the story of sisters who get separated over whatever reasons. The experience of having so many trials, difficulties that, each time it was as if God was preparing you for the next step. He allowed it to happen. He did not cause these things to happen, but he allowed them and he gave you the strength to get through it.
Right.
And now you're in this beautiful place of being able to share all of that. And I see that you're also a playwright.
Yes,
Oh my goodness. I'm looking for something from you. I want to see your name someplace in a playbill, someplace,
yes,
because
ma'am.
you have a wealth to bring. And these are stories, women's stories that need to be told, each thing that you spoke about. So we really want to thank you for being with us. We did not know that you were Ketrice's sister.
Yes,
So now
ma'am.
that we do, you're part of the family. Welcome. Everybody who comes to Just Minding My Business is part of the family. So we really appreciate you having been here. Thank you so much for your honesty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Deeply appreciate you. We'll
Yeah.
see you in a minute. Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Okay, let me go find our next person. That was awesome. That was just
Yes. And a playwright. I wanted to say something so bad, but I didn't want to mess
I
up.
know.
So we'll definitely be getting in touch with her because we've got some things we want to do around that arena. So we will be in touch and about that.
Yeah, I'm loving all these beautiful stories.
I am
really-
too.
They're from the heart. I'm telling you, there's nothing like women's story. And I guess that's because I'm a woman. Okay, so I appreciate the paths so many of these women have taken.
Yeah.
Really heartfelt appreciation and for their courage in sharing their story. So next we have Queen Cole. She is an author, speaker, and certified life coach. She is the creative founder and host of the podcast, Light the Path, a syndication highlighting individuals who have gained exceptional inspiration by mastering their own life's journey. Queen Cole is a highly sought out motivational personality and vision board guru. Her mantra is simple: shine with light and love in every moment. Welcome, Queen Cole.
Yes.
Hello, how are you, ladies?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. We're truly enjoying each and every one of you. So tell us about your coaching.
Yes, so the coaching that I do during the pandemic, I'm like, what else can I do besides the podcast? And I went and took a life coaching certification class. So I did hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos and tutorials and assignments to be a life coach. And the life coaching that I will be targeting is people that are transitioning. Either you're transitioning from married to single, and then divorced or anything like that. So it's when you're in that transition time, if you're moving to a new city and you're trying to figure out just how can I get my footing, I'm here to help you out. So I love what I do.
Yes. I love coaching. I remember when I always say coaching found me, because I didn't know what personal development was, none of that, when it found me. And once I became a part of that arena, I just loved it. And like you, I took a course, became a certified life coach. I was so upset when the class was over. I had so much fun. It's an awakening to be able to work from the inside out and have control over how you respond to things. So that was definitely a blessing for me. I really appreciated the person who introduced me, and I have not looked back.
Yes, and I enjoyed it because it gave me another perspective, because I'm a mother. I have college age student athletes, and as a mother, you want to give advice. Do this, do that, do this, do that. But in the coaching arena, it's not like that. You give the power to the person to make the best decision for themselves. So you have to, one, listen, and then two, ask the right questions. So it really gave me a whole nother perspective, because I'm like, it was hard. The first couple of weeks I'm like, girl, just do this. But you can't do that. So I'm thankful that I was able to get that training. And I mean, it even helps me help my children, because I put on my vision board, I said, do not insert yourself unnecessarily.
All righty then. I'm definitely feeling that. So the vision board work that you did, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I love helping women, men, children do their vision board, because when I first was newly divorced, I had no clue. My identity was solely wrapped up in my children, my ex-husband. So I had to really figure it out. And after that first year, when a lot of things on my vision board started coming to pass, I was able to manifest those things. I said, I got to share this with everybody. So I help everybody, all age ranges, get their vision board together. This year, my son, when he came to visit, he's like, "Hey, Mom, we're gonna do a vision board." I'm like, absolutely. So for a 22-year-old to still want to do it with his mom, it really made me feel good. So I love doing vision boards. I like seeing all the goals, all the accomplishments, and just really making it an action board, seeing how that it starts from here and then they move it forward throughout the year. So I love doing it.
Yes, indeed. I've gone to a couple of those parties, and it is pretty fun to create your visions with pictures and different things that you want to happen in your life. So tell us a bit about your chapter in the book.
Yes. So the name of my chapter is Ring of Fire. And so when I've been telling people this, they're like, "What? Wedding ring?" I said, yes, absolutely. So it's talking about different instances that have happened when I was married that I felt like I was in a ring of fire. There were instances where I was doing and saying things that were not of the Lord, and I had to be forged by the fire to be able to move from that ring of fire into the next phase of life. So that's what my chapter is about.
Wow, that sounds really interesting.
Mhm.
I can almost feel what that could be about.
Yes, I don't want to give too much of it away, but there were, again, things that I was saying and doing that really had me disconnected. I had to really go back to that first love, which is, of course, in Jesus, and be able to get my mind right to exit the ring of fire.
Yes. I mean, being married in itself is a difficult thing. And it's always training going on. I mean, I've been married over 20 something years, so my husband is now trained. So
Yes, and I was married for 17 years, so I was a young mother, a young wife. I got married at 18 years old, so I have a lot of stories to tell. So I can't wait. I look forward to what else the Lord is going to pour out from those years.
Yes.
absolutely. And the longer we live, the more stories we'll have. Because
Yes.
that's the way life is.
Yes, I want to live to 102. That's my prayer. I want to have longevity. I want to be able to be here to see, my grandkids' kids. So that's my prayer.
That's beautiful.
Oh, that's a beautiful prayer. Well, we thank you so much, Ms. Cole, for definitely partaking on our stage. And we're looking forward to more collaborations with you.
Yes, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, Ruth, we're moving right along.
Yes, we have now Tulisa Manaway.
Okay,
And she is a motivational speaker, writer, mentor, and women's advocate. Tulisa has pioneered a path that is unknown to many people, speaking to those who are often forgotten and undervalued. She founded Bag Lady Chronicles, a speaking platform that offers knowledge, advice, and testimonial programs for women and girls that are seeking healing and wholeness. Through her developmental motivational program, she gives women and girls specific strategies to overcome defeat and rise above grave situations. Today, we welcome Tulisa as a co-author in the soon-to-be-released anthology, Forged by Fire. Welcome, Tulisa.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, welcome. So give us a little bit about your work. I love people that work with girls and just work with people in general. So tell us what that looks like.
Well, what Bag Lady Chronicles is, it's a platform that I use to show that some women carry bags. And you know, like when you have a handbag, you clean out that bag and you take the organized chaos and you put it in another bag. And you you clean out that purse and then you take that junk and put it in another bag. So it talks about how basically how you need to empty out. And in certain seasons, you have certain bags.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I love that.
I do too.
Yes, you just bag it up, and it can be a beautiful bag too. Not something old and ugly. You just keep transferring the junk and carrying it along.
Basically,
and it looks real pretty, and it matches your outfit, but it's still junk. Thank you for that. Love it.
Absolutely. And it's so how important it is to clean the junk. And it's so funny. I do a inside out ritual pretty much a lot because, as we all know, bad habits and bad stuff just want to latch on like flies on candy. When you're trying to live a life of, be in alignment with what God wants you to do, that's sometimes can be a difficult walk in the world. So I definitely have to take that time to go inside out and do some cleanup because I'm one of those people. I mean, I look at my closets. Is anything that's got doors on it. So when you talk about, junk and cleaning yourself out, that's so healing all the time to do that check-in, to make sure you're still in alignment. That is just huge. So tell us about your chapter in Forged by Fire.
Okay, well, I read a quote on Facebook. It says, sometimes you don't know how strong you are until being strong is the only thing that you have, the only thing you know how to do. And as a kid, they gave my brother 3 months to live. He was dying from colon cancer. And back then here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, they didn't have any pediatric oncologist here in Hattiesburg. So they had to send him to Jackson, Mississippi to get chemotherapy, which left my dad here to take care of me and my mom to go to Jackson with my brother. And so I was left to, my dad worked from like 5 in the morning and like 3:30ish. So I was left in 3rd grade to get up, cook myself breakfast, go to school, do my work, of course, come home, do my homework, cook dinner for my dad, and start the whole process over. And I didn't know that I was being strong because that's all I knew, And so without telling the entire chapter, sometimes you have to play the hand that you're dealt. I didn't know that was hard for a 3rd grader. We were latchkey kids. We knew you go in, you lock the door, you don't answer the door for anybody, So I didn't realize that God was preparing me for such a time as this, even then when I was in 3rd grade.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Preparation starts early.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Yes. And I mean, I can relate to the latch kid. I was a latch kid too, because my parents had to work and we had 2 of the siblings and I was the oldest. So, and like you said, I didn't look at it like being strong. I just looked at it as that's what mama wanted me to do. And I knew that if I didn't do it, there was going to be a price to pay.
There you go.
I didn't want to pay that price.
Right, exactly. So we are definitely looking forward to your chapter and all the good stuff that you have to offer within it. And also we want to definitely stay in touch so we can collaborate and do some other things together. So
okay, great.
Definitely. So thank you so much for gracing our stage, and we look forward to more.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. We are up to our last person,
We are.
and this is Karen Cherry.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, nice picture. Karen Cherry is a speaker, coach, entrepreneur, author, and collaborator. She is the owner of PRN Home Care, which is 24 years old. She has vested over 30 years in the healthcare field and holds a degree in occupational therapy. She is the founder, director of the Power Up Summit and Level Up Your Visibility and Profitability, an organization to encourage powering up your life, finance, health, career, and business. Mrs. Cherry is the visionary author of her #1 best-selling anthology, Trailblazers, who lead, a co-author in a multitude of other anthologies, and now a contributing author to Forge by Fire. Welcome, Karen.
Yes. Welcome, Miss Karen. I see you all over Facebook all the time.
Yes. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. So tell us about the Power Up Summit. But I'm sure everybody kind of knows because you all over Facebook.
Yeah, right. Well, Power Up Summit is one of the 3 conferences that I do a year. It's actually the second one this year that will be happening in July the 14th through the 18th. It's all about powering up all parts of your life, your health, your fitness, your business, your life. And so bringing in speakers from around the world to be a part of that. It's actually, I call it the Big Sister to Level Up Summit, which was an international conference, and thus this one will be as well. So we're right now. I'm in the process of looking for speakers. Start opening our registration. We'll also have. There's a call for nominations because we'll be recognizing people from around the world in different areas as well. So it's actually a decent sized conference. Not as big as my other conference, Success Women's Conference, but it is, we look to have thousands of people virtually in attendance.
Yeah. So tell me, Karen, how did you get on this road? Because I see you all over the place. I've been following you for years. So how did you get on this road?
To create. So I've been creating events and conferences for about almost 20 years now. So that being said, I've always responded to a call and a need with Success Women's Conference. There were many years, probably 10, that women always said, we need a conference. We don't need an event. We don't need a networking thing. We need a actual conference so that people would not only be empowered, but inspired to actually do something. And so we started that conference about 7 years ago and had 540 people the first year. Virtually last year, there were over 17,000 people. That being said, Power Up was given to me. God actually told me you need to get back to doing your own conferences as well. So Power Up, really, that idea came to me prior to COVID because it was supposed to be in person in New Orleans. And so, but it actually wound up being a virtual conference in 2020. So really, I kind of respond to what I see. There's a need. People need to be inspired and encouraged to do things, to actually take action, and creating a platform where people can share their message and share their story is pretty much what I do in addition to helping people become more visible, thus the book anthologies as well as the conferences.
All righty now. I know you because you stay busy. I see you all over the place.
Yes.
So tell us about your chapter in Forged by Fire.
So in Forged by Fire, I wrote about as a young parent, I had to go through a lot to get to where am now. I've been in my home care business for over 24 years. My husband and I co-owned it. But to get here, talk about the trials as a young person who my initial goal was to be a nurse. At least that's what I thought that was in my mind, that was my mission. And I guess God had another plan. So, I talk about going through that process and the things that we had to do and give up and things just to make that happen. And so it's hopefully to encourage people. Sometimes what you think is your initial, what you're called to do, what you believe that is not necessarily where you land. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you have to go through the fire in order to really figure out what you're called to do.
Amen to that. I can relate to that. For sure, because where I am today was definitely not on my to-do list. Mm-mm. I had a whole nother plan, but God had a better one. So
I often ask him, I'm like, look, I tell people all the time, I don't even know why he has me doing anthologies and in anthologies. Writing is not my first love, as so many people have. It's not even on my love list, right? But I've gathered from this journey that my goal is to share my story and to also help other people share their story. So with Miss Keys, I saw this as an opportunity to share one of my stories. I always say people have at least 40 stories to share, and it is our responsibility to share our stories because they're testimonies, and God can't get his glory if you're not giving your testimonies.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Well, we definitely thank you for gracing our stage, Miss Kearn. We really, really appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and bring everybody in so that we can see how this works. Okay, let me
Okay.
Let me add so many of us here. We got a house full tonight. Mm-hmm. All righty. I think we got everybody. Is that everybody?
I think so.
All righty, ladies. This has been an amazing journey with you guys. I am so blessed and honored to have met you and to have, been able to have this conversation with you. And I am looking forward to all of the stuff that God has in store because we have met now. And God don't bring people together to leave them hanging. So, on other opportunities that we're going to be doing. And was that Miss Pittman? That's the playwright?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to talk to you.
All righty. We definitely want to talk to you because we got some ideas that we want to bounce off of you to make happen in our world. So, yes, we will be in touch. And you, Ketrice, sister?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, each one of you had such a fabulous story.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you for coming and sharing it with us and being so honest and forthright with what you had to say.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say that everything that each one of you is doing is valuable. It is valuable, and I'm sure it makes God smile.
Yes, I know it does. God, I mean, he does the work, but we are his soldiers. So he gives us most of the work to do. He just guides us along with it. Well, thanks again, ladies. We truly appreciate you. And this will not be our last encounter, for sure. Bye.